you have so much emotion built up that you just have to let it out. Just bleh.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes I've been a little guilty of that. I don't know if you girls.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I felt a little convicted.
Yeah. Can I get a witness?
Maybe two hands up.
Can I get a witness?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think? Is venting healthy?
And it's you and me, babe, whatever comes. Knowing bigger hands are holding ours, and the greatest days are ahead of us. Growing in love, learning to be a better us.
Hi there, welcome to A Better Us, and welcome to our home. We're so glad you're here.
So do you ever find that you're having a day and you just need to vent? You know what I'm talking about. You rehash certain events of the day, you release the frustration, you let out all the stress, you just vent. That's all right, isn't it? I mean, you don't want to keep all of that bottled up, right?
Well, it's been said, be careful who you're venting to because vents go into other rooms. And that frustration can be contagious. Yeah.
And along those lines, Dr. Jonathan Hoover will be here to answer the pressing question, is venting healthy? In our Just Us Girls segment, the ladies of A Better Us will have a lot to say about the answer.
Also, how important is music in your relationship? Do you have your song or a certain playlist that the two of you just love? Pastor and Grammy-nominated singer-songwriter Montell Jordan will be with us to answer the question, how does music impact relationships?
Our kitchen couples will have a lot to say about that. It's going to be good, so stay with us.
Hey, Jonathan, every once in a while, somebody can just kind of come on like gangbusters, and we call it venting, right? I mean, it's just like, I got to let it all out. And we see that on sitcoms. We see that maybe in our own kitchen. So what do you do if you're the venter? What do you do if you're the ventee in a relationship and this is going on?
Well, I think that we've all been raised to think that a certain amount of venting is normal, that if we're really upset about something, that it's okay to just let that emotion out, and whoever it happens to land on, they should be willing to put up with it. So if I had a bad day, I can come home and let that angry emotion out, and my spouse may be the recipient of it, even though my spouse didn't do anything. And that can be really difficult. But a lot of us have this idea that venting is normal.
And that's so true. We can justify it because of that. I was counseling a couple not too long ago, and he's Italian, and he loves being Italian. And he says, it's in my nature, man. And I do a terrible Italian accent, but you get the idea. It was just like, that's just me. Yeah. That's just me. It's like, well, maybe, but you need to rein that in if that's just you, because it's coming off in a way that's harmful to the people around you, right? So even though we think it's natural, maybe we still need to put the brakes on it sometimes.
We do. It's important to know that, like most of us have been taught, that venting releases our anger. If I vent, I'm going to feel less angry. But the truth is, venting only rehearses our anger. This is what we know from research, that your brain is listening to what your mouth says. So when you are saying stuff, when you're saying angry stuff, you are only gearing your brain up more and more to be angry, and you're rehearsing and practicing being angry. And it only becomes a self-fulfilling situation where if you start venting, you're just going to become a regular venter. And people don't love being around people who are constantly letting out, caustic emotions on the people that they love. I mean, it's those are the people that we want to be the most careful with. We want to treat them with respect and kindness, not venting all of that emotion that doesn't even relate to them.
That's so true. And, decades ago, research at Stanford, I believe, do you remember the Bobo doll experiment? Have you ever heard of this? Yeah, where they had little kids and they take out their frustration on this Bobo doll. And they thought, okay, we got to get that out of them so that then they can, be better. And what they discovered is, for a lot of kids, it just exaggerated the frustration. And then after they were hitting the Bobo doll, they want to go hit something else, right? And so this idea that, we build up all this stuff that we've got to vent, and the only way to resolve that is just to get it out and go crazy, that's really a misnomer, isn't it?
It is, and we can prove it with heart rate, right? If you're venting, your heart rate's actually going up. It's not going down. So you started off upset, geared up. You get more geared up by venting, right? So you have two options, right? You can either try to figure out something that I can do to deal with the problem. And anger is really an emotion that says there's a problem that needs to be fixed. Maybe it's a unfairness problem, but there's a problem that needs to be fixed. I can either do something to deal with the problem, or if I can't deal with the problem, I need to do something to deal with the emotion. So I need to do something to cope with the emotions that I'm experiencing, or I need to do something with the problem that created these emotions in the first place. But venting, it's kind of a waste of time. It causes issues for the people that love you, and ultimately it makes you more angry.
Such a good point. Thanks so much.
Well, it is Just Us Girls time, and I am so excited to be back with the girls of A Better Us. I've got Kara, I've got Diane, I have Danielle. Girls, we are together again.
We are.
Too long.
And you know what?
Seriously.
The guys aren't here. And so this is Just Us Girls time, because we're going to talk about some things.
Yes.
All right, all right.
Let's
So,
do it.
Okay, our topic right now is venting healthy. Now, you girls probably have no idea what venting is, right?
absolutely
Never
no.
done
Nope.
that.
Never.
Never. Okay, the way I would define venting is you just have so much emotion, as they, with Dr. Les there, you have so much emotion built up that you just have to let it out. Just bleh.
Right.
Yep.
And sometimes I've been a little guilty of that. I don't know if you girls.
say.
Anybody else?
I felt a little convicted.
Yeah. Can I get a witness?
Maybe two hands up.
Can I get a witness?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think? Is venting healthy?
Okay. I had mixed feelings about this one. I thought it was funny. There were two men, the experts were two guys, and now here we are, just us girls.
Yeah.
And I absolutely 100% agree with what Dr. Jonathan said. Like, our brain is listening to what our mouth is saying, and we have to be careful to not make sure when we speak negative things, we project and put negativity out there, and we're living a negative life before we know it. So that I'm on board with, but there's something to be said for a little bit of venting, maybe. And I'll tell you why. Maybe I felt a little convicted. But anyway, so my thinking is, Just Us Girls, we connect by getting things out there, by sharing our heart and all of that. And I know that we want to do that with our men too. I know Dr. Bill and Pam Farrell, they have said in the past, like, guys, just go on the journey with the girls. If they need to let it out, they just need to be heard. They don't need you to fix their problem. They just need you to listen and feel better. And, when we're out on the road with A Better Us date night tours, sometimes we show this video that totally drives home this point. It's a husband and wife. And up close, you just kind of see the wife's mouth talking at first. And she's venting. She's talking, I just have a really dull ache in my head. I'm sore, just a headache. And I just wish it would just go away. And the camera pans out, and you see she's got a nail stuck out of her forehead, a literal nail. And the husband is just going, but you've got something sticking out of your head. Right, let me just get it. And she's going, no, just listen. I have a headache. Right, and he finally realizes she doesn't want me to fix this problem. She just needs me to listen, and that will make her feel better. So there's a little bit to be said for that. However, Dr. Les and Dr. Jonathan are totally right. We need to make sure it doesn't become a habit where our husband is just hearing negativity come from us constantly.
I think you've nailed it there, Danielle, because I think there's a difference between habitual venting and situational venting.
There you go.
Because sometimes there's something that happens to you, you just have to talk about it. You just have to let it out. And that's not habitual, that's situational. So I think maybe there's a difference there.
I agree, and I know that for me, I always tell my husband, just listen, just hear me.
Yes.
I don't want you to fix it, because he's the type of person that wants to jump into action. What can I do? How can I fix it? I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. Just hear what I'm saying. and listen.
Yeah.
I don't want you to do anything. I just need to talk. I need to talk it out because I can fix it myself, but I just need someone. I need a sounding board.
Right, right.
Right?
But that's not always venting either.
Well,
sometimes that's just communication.
Exactly.
Like, this is what we need to work through.
Yes,
What I'm
yes.
processing, what I'm going through right now.
Right.
So venting, I think, is taking that to an extreme.
Exactly.
I think it's the difference between an external talking process and venting. And finding out where you are in the line. Like I could try and talk to Eric through something, but if it starts to veer into venting, I think that's when I need to bring it back a little bit, which he's very good at helping with that. And I love that he was talking about how we could give a burden and a load to our loved ones. And we don't want to do that. Like it's not their load. And if we're just wanting to tell them we're not taking on the load, or if we're just venting, we're just venting, and it's not for them to pick up that load. And so
That's a good point, actually.
I love how he said venting only makes us angrier.
Yeah.
Right?
It raises the temperature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It just it stirs up something and you want to keep going.
Yes.
You want to just keep spewing everything out.
Well, and some people get in the habit of using venting as kind of like a release valve.
yes.
Yes.
You know, like he was saying, you get home from work and you've had a rough day, or maybe not even a rough day, but you just feel like you're in this habit of, I'm just going to let it all out to anyone who's listening.
Right.
Yeah.
And that release valve might make you feel better in the moment.
Yeah.
But like Kara said, it might make everyone around you miserable.
Yeah.
And so
I think, you know, in 6th grade, my teacher said, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so I'm also thinking, how am I talking to Dan? Is he feeling attacked? You know, when he wasn't the one that was, you know, he wasn't doing anything wrong to me, but now all of a sudden I feel I'm projecting that onto him, and now he's feeling attacked. So we need to make sure maybe in our venting, like, okay, you are here to help me through this process. You're not my enemy now.
No, exactly.
And so, you know, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
That's right. And that's where that words matter come into play.
Yes.
Right? The words that you use. And it's not just our husbands, ladies. It's our children. Like we get to the point where we can begin to vent and they get part of that as well, right? And that's where we have to watch ourselves because we don't want them to pick up our bad habit.
No.
Yeah.
And you know what? I mean, to bring it down to a practical, like spiritual application, the Bible even says you can be angry, but don't sin
In your
in your anger. And I think
That's
it's
it.
Ephesians chapter 4,
That's right.
where it says, do not sin by letting anger control you.
Right.
And quite often, if we get into that habit of just kind of spitting it out there, that's kind of anger controlling our mood in the moment, and ruining everybody else's mood around us.
Yeah. Or creating offenses that you never meant to create. And
Which
now
then
you're
opens a
just
whole nother can of worms that you've got to deal with just because you feel the right to spew it out and vent.
And it sets the tone for the home, right? It really sets a tone. So what we say really does matter because that tone you set in the home, that's going to continue, right?
That's right.
And
it's contagious.
It's very contagious. Yeah.
And is there a purpose in it? Are you going to let it all out and go, okay, I can move on? And I know you've said in the past, Anne, give your emotions a say, but not the final word.
That's
and so let's move on from here. And I say that to my boys often, like, you can be upset about this right now, but we're not going to carry it on in the rest of our day because all you're going to do is ruin the rest of all of our day. So don't give it the final say.
Let it go.
I love
Let
that.
it go.
Let it go. We're going to start singing in a minute. I think our husbands are going to start singing that song too. Let it go. Well, this has been good, girls. It's so great to be with you, just us girls. So you stay tuned because there's more Better Us coming.
I think it's important to have a current playlist between you and your spouse of songs that remind you of why you fell in love, how you fell in love, and how to continue staying in love.
Hey friends, Ron and Ann here. We're so glad you're with us at A Better Us, and we pray your marriage is blessed as you take this in.
Be sure and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and enjoy this video.
All right, so Montell, you are the perfect person to ask this question, and we get it from time to time here at Loveology about music because there's something something in our spirit that resonates with the music that we were hearing when we were first falling in love with our spouse. And some people have fallen in love listening to your music specifically. And so talk to us a little bit, because I know you've studied this, you're aware of this. What happens in the realm of music that makes that such an experience of connection, with soul to soul kind of connection with our spouse?
That is great question. When it comes to music, I believe music is the soundtrack to our lives. Music allows us really to have a form of time travel, if you will. It really is a time machine that can take you back to great moments. It can take you back to not so great moments. I think it's important to have a current playlist between you and your spouse of songs that remind you of why you fell in love, how you fell in love, and how to continue staying in love. I believe that music hits a lot of different places because music, the power behind music is that music affects our mind, our will, and our emotions. If you go extensively, you'll start to find out that melodies in music, certain melodies and frequencies, they affect our emotions. If you start to go deeper, you'll find out that beats and rhythms to certain songs affect our will, our need to move and call to action. And then words or lyrics, they affect what we think, because whatsoever a man or woman think, that's what they become. And so really the perfect storm musically is when you have a great melody that affects your emotions, you have a great beat that makes you move and feel a certain way, and then the words say exactly what you're thinking and feeling. And so I would close this thought by saying it's super important to make sure you have a current playlist for you and your spouse, because time travel can work positive and negative, and you don't want to be listening to songs that reminded you of times maybe prior to marriage, or songs that may have had you thinking sinful thoughts, things like that. You want to make sure that your playlist with your spouse is current, because there's power in music.
Yeah, that's so true. And it does take you right back to that place so often. And so if I hear you correctly, you're saying make sure you have your playlist of when you were falling in love, because that's a great memory jog. And then secondly, make sure you have a current playlist, because we need to continue to evolve, of course, as couples. So my question to you is, if we were to tap into that playlist when the two of you were falling in love, what would be on that playlist? Just give me 2 or 3 tunes that come to mind.
Prince, Adore, Until the End of Time, I'll Be There For You, You All My Heart and Mind, and Truly I Adore You. If God One Day Struck Me Blind, Your Beauty I Still See, Love's Too Weak to Define, Just What You Mean to Me. A song by After 7 called Ready or Not. I give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. I give you my, listen, we're a musical couple. We got songs, baby.
I have a feeling I need you to help me shape my playlist with Leslie going forward. So
I can help you with that. I can help you with that.
I know you could. And you probably charge me too. That's the issue. So, Montell, this is such a great reminder for us, because music, it really is the soundtrack to our lives. And it's a great reminder for us here at Loveology. Thanks a million.
Thank you, guys.
Well, welcome to our world famous kitchen. Can I say that, or is that too lofty?
World famous,
Anyway, we are here with our world famous kitchen couple. Okay. We've got Dan and Danielle, and we have Mike and Diane.
Yes.
And it's great to be back in the kitchen here together, and back talking this
You know what?
segment. It's kind of interesting to think about music.
This is a fun one. I so enjoyed this one. And
Me
we
too.
happen to have some musical talent right here around the island. So I have a feeling there's going to be some talking around here. But you know what? A lot of times, it could be fun and fluffy, but a lot of times we talk to couples and they say, you know what, we just don't have that spark in our relationship anymore. And this could be a good way to get that spark back. Like, listen to that music you used to listen to back in the day.
Well, they said it's like time travel.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't know. What do you think, guys?
It is. I think it's like time travel for sure. I remember when we were dating, music has always been our thing, and we would get in the car and we would just drive for hours, and we would listen to Freddie Jackson, Luther Vandross, like all those good crooners, right? And I'm telling you, this guy here, he knew the lyrics to every single song that came on the radio.
Could you sing too?
All this stuff, right?
Yes, yes. So the question is, could I sing? And she said, when I sang, she says, because I told her, I said, no, I can't sing. And she says, no, honey, everybody can't sing, right? She didn't say I couldn't.
Okay. So she was being kind.
Yes, when she heard me, she says, you're right, honey, everybody can't sing.
So just crank Luther a little louder.
That's it.
Other talents.
That's it, right?
One or two things that he's really good at, so I guess it's okay.
You might not carry a tune, but you can carry a football far.
Okay, so there you go. There you go. There you go.
That kind of can stir something in your soul, as Montell was saying there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Brings you back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the science of it, but I definitely know it is nostalgic for us. And now, we were falling in love in the 90s, baby. And so there were some boy bands that we were into. We have a certain affinity for Backstreet Boys, I have to say.
Okay.
Should we admit that on national television? I don't know.
It's too late. It's out there.
It's done. But there were some special songs. I know that when we were pen pals, we used to quote lines back and forth in letters to each other of a certain duet song.
So yes, we started off as pen pals back before the internet even, and there was a song called "Somewhere Somehow." It was Michael W. Smith and Amy Grant sang it together, and there was a line in there: "Somewhere far beyond today, I will find a way to find you, and somehow through the lonely nights, I will leave a light in the dark. Let it lead you to my heart." And we used to write that on the bottom of of the love letters.
Oh, no, that's romantic.
So
And
then she walked down the aisle to that song.
music. Yeah.
Our piano player played that song on the way down.
And it's still, when we put it on, it just gives you the warm
gives you the feels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
They say one song, 1,000 memories.
It's
wrapped
doing
up
what
in
it's
it,
supposed to do.
Yeah,
That's it.
music can make you remember everything or forget everything,
That's right.
depending on which you. So, like during COVID, I had like an '80s playlist that I would listen to. It's kind of like that time travel, happier
the good old
times,
days,
yes,
yeah.
good feels. But now the love songs. If I start playing certain love songs, like if I play Somewhere Somehow, she's like, "Okay, what are you up to, mister?" She has a Danielle playlist of certain songs that she likes, and if I'm putting that on, then it might work out in my favor. It ups the percentage chance.
Okay, a good thing. So when we were dating, Lionel Richie was our go-to.
yes.
In fact, we got married in 1984, and Ron's brother Reynold sang a Lionel Richie song at our wedding. It was called
You Mean More to Me Than Words Could Ever Say.
Yeah.
And not one of his most popular songs,
but we loved. In fact, we just recently went to a Lionel Richie Earth, Wind, and Fire concert.
Yeah.
So I texted you. Do you remember? Like the week before we went, I texted Diane and said, "Guess what? Because I said, I told my kids, and they said,
was awesome.
"Oh, that's nice, Mom." It's like, what? They say, "Oh, you're not hearing me? Earth, Wind, and Fire, Lionel Richie."
Awesome.
And that really brought us back because, that was kind of the music we would listen to. And even in our teenage years, even before we knew each other, we knew some of these songs. And we would sing
Okay,
them.
speaking of Earth, Wind, and Fire, my favorite one.
Which one?
September.
Because the date,
The 21st night.
that's her birthday.
You keep
Her
singing, you
birthday.
have to pay royalties on that.
I know, exactly. September 21st is my birthday, and that's the first line of the song September. So I've always said that's my song.
That's
Love that. It's so
Good
easy
stuff.
to dance to that song too.
But when we talk to couples, and counselors will say this too, with couples that are maybe saying, how do we kind of get that spark back, or how to, and if you do some of the things you did at the beginning and the early stages of your relationship, think back, you know, where did you go on dates? What did you do? What did you listen to? And that could help to kind of stir up some of those emotions and memories that are really powerful.
And like Dan and Danielle said, put some of these songs on in different rooms in the house, even the bedroom. If there's a special song that was special for you back in the day, maybe it's special for you now, just start playing it and just see what happens. It can really rekindle the romance that you used to have.
Life speaks to the head, but music speaks to the heart.
Oh,
Absolutely,
that's good.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, this has been a kind of a fun discussion, and I was going to sing us out of this segment, but I decided we better not do that. You don't want that. But there is more Better Us to come, so hang in there. For more marriage encouragement, follow A Better Us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And subscribe for your free weekly Marriage Moment email at abetterus.tv. Today's show has covered some pretty practical stuff, starting with venting, which seems on the surface can be pretty harmless. I mean, you got to get it out, right?
Except if it becomes a habit and spewing poison becomes your comfortable go-to at the end of the day. If you think about the impact it has on the person you're consistently venting to, it doesn't seem so harmless anymore.
Life can be stressful. We all know that. And letting out instead of holding in our frustrations can be healthy. So what if we get into the habit of releasing that stress to someone who can take it? Someone whose shoulders are big enough to carry the weight of the world. In fact, they do. What if we all got into the habit of releasing our frustration to God?
It's actually what He wants us to do. It's right there in the Bible. In 1 Peter 5, we're invited to give God all of our frustrations and anxieties, and He will take them. And in another verse, it says that He will replace them with His peace.
The peace in place of frustration. That sounds amazing, doesn't it? It is. Sometimes when I'm in the car and it's been a rough day, I just slip on some soothing worship music, taking my focus from my day and putting it on my God. That makes all the difference. And it saves this guy from having to sit through the spewing.
Well, music has a way of doing that, doesn't it? You know, earlier in the program we talked about love songs and how revisiting those from our early days can actually help rekindle our love today. And that's a great idea. But we can also have a playlist of worship love songs to God, right? It affects our mind, will, and emotions in a positive direction.
If the concept of inviting God into your life in such a personal way is new to you, why not give our prayer line a call? It's a free call and it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
There's a caring person on the other end of that line who would love to introduce you to the one who loves you most. And also remember that we have some helpful online resources for you as well.
Well, thanks again for stopping by. And remember, don't give up. With God, there is always hope to become a better us.
Hey friends, we really hope you're enjoying the marriage conversations here with A Better Us on our YouTube channel.
We have hundreds of more helpful marriage videos designed to give you hope and tools to make your marriage better.
And you can see just a few options we think you might like here and here.
Enjoy! Oh, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here so you don't miss out on all the great marriage help we have coming your way soon.